Greetings, animators. Now we're on to lesson 3, part B. All right. So now we're going to jump straight into this. And at the end of this lesson, it's not going to be too long because I'm going to give you some time today to work with some of the new features in some of the shapes tools, and you'll be able to play with it and kind of learn a little bit more about what they do and how they function. All right. So again, the best way to learn is to practice, and that's how you build your skills with Illustrator. So I'm going to want you to do that at the end of class. All right, so let's go ahead and let's continue on our path. So what I want you to do now, if you don't see this view here, you can hit Command 0, which basically shows everything on the artboard. All right, and then once you're here, well, I'm just going to do right the reverse. We're going to zoom in, right? So I'm going to want you to zoom in. I'm hitting Command plus, and you can always zoom in with the magnifying glass. Back to our bottom shape here. All right. So let's go ahead and click that. I'm going to do something to the edges of the shape. I want us to go ahead and grab, and again, zoom in to where you can actually see the live corners, which are the little blue dots, right? And if you hover over them, you're going to see that they have a blue arc on the side. And I want us to go ahead and pull all the way out to where it's basically a corner again. All right, we're gonna actually do something a little different today. So what I'm gonna do is we're going to go ahead and double click on the bottom right live corner. Okay, and it's going to bring up a transform panel, right? And we can do a lot of crazy things with this, but we could also, if I exit that and use our other selection tool, our direct selection tool, right? And we double click on our live corner, we actually get a different menu. All right. And the menus are different just by the different selection tools that we've used. So now that we've got that selection tool, I want us to basically have a rounded corner here. And let's go ahead and bring it into where it is and just play with the radius, right? And I want basically it's going to be a 0.1. And this is kind of what we want right here, just half the radius. And hit OK. Go to the bottom left live corner. Boom. Double click that. And then with these little arrows here, the up and down arrows, I want you, and again, the corner radius is there. Let's push up 1, 2, and that's where we're at. Right? They're both basically 1 point or 0.1 inch. And hit OK. All right. The next thing I want us to do is let's go ahead and fill this up with brown. So let's go to our fill, and let's pick one of these two swatches. Pick the second swatch, and we'll go with a dark brown. Okay. And then what we'll do next is we will go ahead and we'll go to our stroke. Right. And let's go ahead and let's do that. Actually, we'll leave the stroke for right now. We'll get back into it in a second. All right. So for right now, let's just leave it like this. All right. This is the bottom shape. Now let's go ahead and zoom out, or you can go ahead and go to View and Fit Artboard in Window to get back to the entire artboard. This is where we're at. So we're actually going to work with some tools to make some fruits today, right? And the first one we're going to make, or the first one we're going to do, first shape we're going to do is the ellipse tool. So we're going to come back here, and you may have it as a rectangle tool, okay? But there are a lot of cool tools that we can use here. And to be honest with you, some of you already know this, but these tools can be combined to create different things, right? Something as easy as a snowman, you just know that you need 3 circles. But today, let's work on getting a pair. So let's get the ellipse tool, right? I selected the ellipse tool. All right, and so the next thing we need to do is we're going to click and drag across from the top left to the bottom right, across, click and drag. And if you don't see anything, there's a reason for that. And I'm going to go ahead and undo this, because go to View, and if right now I don't have the smart guides on. All right. If you don't have the smart guides on, then you're not going to see that little gray box that we need. See how that little gray box tells me the size, the width, and the height? All right. I had the smart guides off because I was working on something else. So I had to turn them back on so I can see it because I really want this to be perfect. So what I'm looking for here is a width of 0.6 and a height of 0.75. Again, 0.6 for the width and height of 0.75. So I got a 0. For the, let's look at the width, 0. Go down 6, 7. Width is 0.6 and the height of 7.75. All right, there. All right, that's good enough, right? As long as you get close. As long as you get close, that's all we're really looking for. All right, so now we have this cool shape. We're going to use the Ellipse tool again to get us a separate shape, but we're going to use this new functionality. So let me show you how this works. So we have the magenta line. That means we're centered. Don't go all the way up to the anchor point, but just below the anchor point till you see crosshairs, right? I want you to hold down Option and Shift, and I want you to click and drag, right? And what that will do diagonally, what that'll do is that'll create a circle from the center that goes out equally. See that? From the center, it expands, right? So, but you have to keep holding Shift and Option together. All right. So we'll click it and we'll drag it. Okay, and we're going to try to make it to where it's the width and the height is 1 inch. 1 inch for the width and the height in the little gray box. Then let go of your mouse. Then let go of your Shift and Option. All right, and you should have kind of what looks like a pear, right? Even though it's greenish. But let's go ahead and let's color it green. So let's go ahead and select both of them. And we're going to use our regular selection tool. Click both of them. Go to our fill. And you'll pick a green color. Right? Any green color will do. And this is what we get. All right? But maybe we'll want to get rid of a couple of things, and we'll work with those in a second. Right? We'll work with the stroke in a minute. All right? So let's go ahead and now we have our pear. Let's go ahead, or at least the beginning of the pear. Let's go to File, and then we'll save, or save as. Sorry. Let's go to File, Save. Or you can hit Control S. All right. All right. So now let's go ahead and let's build some apples. All right. So go back to the Ellipse tool. And right next to the Ellipse tool, I'm going to show you how to do these. We're going to basically make 3 circles. So the first circle, we're basically going to make it to where it's both 0.7. So we're going to hold down Shift, and then we're going to click and drag right to where it says 0.7. Both for the width and the height. 0.7. There it is. And then you let go of the mouse button. And then you can let go of the Shift button. Notice that's the way it works. So if you're going to be key combinations, press the key combinations first, and then you'll press the click button. And at the end, you'll do it reverse. You'll release the click button, and then you release the command keys. Sometimes everybody's trying to do it at the same time, and I just want to let you guys know right now that the proper procedure is and I'll model this later, is you hold down the command keys, then you do your adjustments with the mouse, and then you let go of the mouse, and the last thing you do is you let go of the command buttons. It's that sequence, okay? So the next thing we're going to do, when we have that, I want you to notice that I'm not using the selection, the direct selection tool. I'm just hovering toward the middle, all right? And this middle, we have a center point of the circle, right? And this center point of the circle, when you get close to it, it actually turns into a pointer. When it turns into a pointer, that means you can grab it. and you can move it around just like you can with the selection tool, but you don't have to leave the ellipse tool. So maybe you want to make a bunch and you just want to move it out of the way. You don't have to keep going to the direct selection tool back to the ellipse tool. You can just hover and click on the center of the circle. Okay. Next, we're going to get a second circle here, right? And again, if you go to the center of the circle, right, and this is how we do it. There's no hands, right? We get our left hand and we hold down Option. I'm pressing the Option key now. Now I click and drag from the center with a blue button, and then it automatically makes a copy right next to it. See that? It's really easy, and you can make copies just like that, just by dragging it over, right? And we're going to drag it over till it says about DX is 40, like 43. I let go of the mouse. I'm still pressing down Option, let go of the mouse, and now I let go of Option after I do that. Okay. Again, it's 43. We want the distance to be, the DX in that little gray bar to be 43. Okay. Now we have two different circles. Again, trust me, it'll look like an apple in a minute. All right. Now what we're going to do is we're going to do one more circle. And this is a cool one. All right. So what we're going to do here is we're going to, with the ellipse tool, we're going to use our smart guides to tell us where we are at the very left-hand side of one of the circles, right? And from here, you're going to click and hold, because we're going to click and drag all the way till we diagonally, all the way till we get to the other side of the circle to where you see the other line. All right. But we want a perfect circle. So I'm going to let go of that and hit Control Z for undo. So I'm going to click here. Well, I'm not going to click. I'm going to hover. I'm hovering on the left-hand side so I see this guideline. Then I'm going to take my hand and I'm going to hold down Shift, right? Because I want a perfect circle. Then I'm going to click and drag all the way across until my right-hand side of my circle matches up with the right-hand side of the two circles. You see that? Then I'm going to let go of the mouse button, and I'm going to let go of the Shift button, right? I'll let go of the Shift button. There it is. Super easy, right? Now, we're going to adjust a little bit more. Okay, this is a pretty cool deal. All right. So now we're going to make kind of like a little Pacman. We can, right? I want you to look, bring your attention or look for this little handlebar right here on the right-hand side. It's called a pie widget, by the way. All right. And you'll see why in a second. So you click this little handle here. You click it, right? You're going to click it. And as soon as you click it, you see like a little Pacman right underneath your direct selection cursor. And what you'll do is you can just, let me get it real quick. You can just move it. You see Pacman? Those of you know, right? So let's go ahead and open it to 180. So we're actually peeling back the circle. And where it says start angle should be 180 degrees. 78, 77. 179.71 is okay. Doesn't have to be super perfect, right? And you'll see it in a second. All right. And then so basically, when you're here, go ahead and press the escape key, right? And then go ahead and then you can click the selection tool up here and just click anywhere to deselect. All right. Super cool. All right. The next thing we're going to do, we're actually going to bring this up, this bottom shape up. So go ahead and grab this and we'll move it up using the smart guides. Okay. Until the the DX, all right, it's centered till that DX turns into 0. Right? Kind of like an apple. All right. So now let's go ahead and color it red. So let's go ahead and grab with our selection tool. Let's go ahead and grab the whole thing. Select fill. Go to our color mixer. Right? The C should be 15. The M should be 100. again, we're over here in the little color mixer, right? The Y should be 90, and the K should be 10, right? Hit return or enter, and there's our red apple. So we have a green pear and a red apple. All right. And we can come up here to go to select, and we can deselect up here. And there we are. And again, we will remove the strokes in a bit. Some of you are probably were wondering if we can remove the strokes. Yes, we can. Okay. So next thing we're going to do, and of course, if you really want to see those two circles, we'll click this, and then we will arrange, send backward, right? Arrange, send backward again, and now you can see the two apples and how it all works, or the two circles. All right, I just did some arranging. That's it. All right, so now what we're going to do is we're going to click on the half circle, right? Let's go ahead and Command C. Then we can Command V for paste. Command C for copy, Command V for paste. Now we could use this as an orange wedge or a lemon wedge. We just got to change the color, right? But I'm going to set this aside for right now. So again, I just with my selection tool, I just clicked the bottom and I made a copy of it. Okay. Super easy. All right. So now we're going to one more part before I'm going to release you to a little project that you can do in class. All right. And again, I want to really bring your attention to the two fruit-like items that we've made, right? Which is the pear and the apple, right? But let's go ahead and talk about changing the stroke and width alignment here. All right. So what we'll do here is we're going to zoom in down here at the, our second rectangle, right? And make sure that you zoom in so that you can actually see, our little control points. All right. And right now we're actually not going to use this. We're going to be working with just the stroke. All right. So I want you to come over here to where it says the stroke right here. And I want you to click the stroke. Right. The stroke is underlined, meaning there's another menu underneath. And then on where it says align stroke, I want you to basically align stroke on the inside. Okay. And I want you to come over here and change the stroke point. Just click it up to number 2, or you can type in 2. And then what I'm going to want you to do is I want you also to come over to the stroke color and go with a lighter shade of brown. Okay, the lighter shade of brown. So that's what you see there in that point. Okay. And what that does is it keeps the original size of the shape, and even though it gives us a stroke, but it doesn't make the shape any bigger. If the stroke, if we put it on the outside, it actually makes the shape that much bigger by how many points that you've set it. All right, let's go ahead and hit Command 0. And now what we'll do, let's go ahead and click anywhere, so deselect. Now we're going to work with the beginning of the polygon. Now I'm not going to go too deep in there, but I do want to show you a couple of cool little tips on how to use the Polygon tool, right? So we're here where we fit the artboard to the window. We're going to look at our ellipse tool, and we're going to go down to the third item, which is the Polygon tool. We'll click on the Polygon tool. Now, I see my hands, right? So what we'll do here is that we are going to move the pointer in a blank area of the artboard. So we're going to be working in this area right here. So right now we're going to start clicking and dragging, but do not release your, and actually, you know what? Let me undo that. I'm going to do it down here so we can actually see it. So, but don't release the mouse button. Right, keep as you drag, right? As I click and drag and make the polygon, undo that. I'm gonna hold down the mouse button, right? I'm gonna hold it down. All right, now with this hand, with your left hand, reach over to the down arrow, right? And it removes the points or adds. I'm adding a lot of points, right? How many different angles do you want? How many different points do you want? And what we want right now is we're going to switch it just to 5, right? There's the square, which is 4 corners, 5. We want 5, and you can do that all the time. And now we'll release the mouse button, and there is your polygon. So just by clicking and dragging, and with just the arrows up or down, you can add points or take away points. So, if you wanted to use some, different wheels, different, add more functionality to it, you can just with those arrows. But let's go ahead and leave that shape for a second. So what I want you to do is I want you to go ahead and we'll turn the smart guides off. So we'll go to view and unclick the smart guides. Okay. All right. So now what we'll do is we're going to select this, and we're going to go ahead and go actually use your selection tool, right? And we'll select or click off and then select it again. And then we're going to go to or select the polygon again. Then we're going to go into our fill, and let's go back into our color picker, and let's color this polygon a different color. Let's color it a shade of green, but let's give you the recipe. The recipe to the color that I want here is in our fill color box is 85 for cyan, magenta's 10, Y for yellow is going to be 100, and K is 10. Okay, and you can just hit return, and there you go. There is the green that we're using for this particular shape. All right, and I don't like that brown around the edge, so let's go to our stroke color, and let's just take it off where it says none. So we remove the stroke from this shape. Okay, so we have this shape here. It's pretty cool. All right, so yeah, it's pretty neat that we have this cool little shape here. So the next thing we're going to do, right, is let's just say that we want more sides. We've already made the polygon and it's perfect, but it could use another corner, right? But instead of making a whole new polygon, and let's just say that you're already really into your design, we're gonna look for this. We're gonna look for the little diamond, right? And when you hit that little diamond, right, and you go up. No, let me see this. Oops, I'm sorry. Where's the little? Oh, it's this diamond here. See where it says plus minus? You got to be careful because we're different angles. It'll look like different shapes. See where it's? I'm hovering and it says plus or minus. That actually is going to increase the sides or decrease them. See 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So it actually adds points or takes them away. 3 is the basic, the least amount, which is a triangle. Then we can add as many as we want to 11. Okay. I think it's 11 is the max. All right. Maybe not. Maybe. No, it is. So let's leave it at 6. We want 6 sides. All right. And I'm going to leave this for a second. So click that and click effect or select, deselect. And then I want you to hit file and save. Right. So that work is saved. You don't have to worry about that. Now we're going to go on to a little project. Right. So I'm going to hit file. I'm going to hit save as. I'm going to leave it here, but we're going to call this postcard shape practice. And it should be in lesson 3, and that's where you're going to save it, and just save it there. So now, okay. Now the title is postcard shape practice, right? And what I want you to do here in this postcard shape practice, this is going to be your playground. You're not going to be able to mess up because the other file is already saved, right? If you go to File, Open Recent Files, and just go to Postcard, it's already here, right? If I wanted to grab all this and delete most of it, right? Hit cancel, and I want to kind of, mess this up a little bit, right? and then I'll save it. I can always go back, open recent files, postcard, and it's always going to be there because we're not working on our file where this is our playground. I'm gonna undo some of this stuff. All right. So what I want you to do here is, now that we have our playground, I want you to try to make more fruit, right? I want you to make some different apples. I want you to practice this technique that we practiced. You may have to go watch this video again in Canvas and rewind how we did this, and maybe take away some of the strokes, right? For all these apples, just take out the strokes maybe, right? So that actually looks like an apple, right? Like, whoa, Miss Rosales, look cool. And then play with it, all right? Because the strokes, when you remove the strokes, that's when magic starts happening, right? They start becoming one shape. All right, so again, you can create a wedge, maybe this like a let me just go ahead and I guess I'll use the paintbrush tool. Stroke, white. I don't have like those lemon wedges or orange wedge or something. I don't know. That's kind of me playing around with it. I want you to play around with it. I want you to figure out, play with the shapes. I do want you to play with the Polygon tool for the rest of the period just to see how it works. Again, look for this diamond to increase the size and decrease the size. This stuff is going to help you when you work on your projects, because you know, projects can be super fun if you have some tools and you know how to use them, right? Right. So maybe some of you can make a heart. Try to make these basic shapes in like clip art style, right? And that's what we're doing here. And you can use all the shapes tools and all of the tricks, right? Try to hold on Option, click the center, and you can duplicate the circle. Practice using the shortcuts. All right, that's it for me, guys. You're going to turn this in at a later date, but it's not going to be printed. This one we're actually going to turn into Canvas, but I'm going to show you how at a later date. Play around with these. I want at least 10 different fruits. Okay, at least 10 different fruits that you're created. It could be cantaloupes, watermelon, cherries, apples, slices of oranges, slices of lemons. I want you just to try to experiment on creating your own fruit from memory. All right. Ask around melons, watermelons. There's a lot of stuff. All right. That's it for me. I'll see you guys tomorrow for the next lesson. This is Mr. Juarez, over and out.